Hey everyone, J7J's here, bringing you a different kind of Final Fantasy Tactics video, but this time on the one gameplay feature I dislike most about every single Final Fantasy Tactics game. And I'm also going to include the Tactics Ogre games as well. Even though the series isn't technically Final Fantasy, it did help pave the way, and I constantly get comments that include a little bit more Ogre Battle content. Just a note that I love nearly all these games with the exception of only one of these titles, so keep that in mind before saying I'm not a Tactics fan, even though my whole channel is dedicated to this game and I spent thousands of dollars just for you guys. So let's get started. We will begin with the Final Fantasy Tactics game. Now Tactics on the PlayStation 1 is amazing in all areas. However, the main thing I hate about this game is that you can't retreat from random battles. This gets annoying when you have played the game many times, it bothers me when I'm trying to get video clips, and I'm sure it annoys people who want to do challenge and speedruns as well. For War of the Lions, which was technically speaking the remaster of the PlayStation 1 version,
Technically, just shut up!
while I do also love it, and it's virtually the same as the original game with some bells and whistles, I mainly hate the slowdown on nearly all abilities. It was quite noticeable, especially for us PS1 veterans, but I still love this remaster of the game from the addition of Dark Knight and multiplayer, which people seem to have forgotten about. Next, it is all about Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. While in my opinion it's not nearly as good, I really dislike the laws here. While I'm very aware that you can always check the laws before going into battle, and that you can eventually get rid of the laws if you have certain law removal cards, it just wasn't fun. Like we come home from work to play games, to have fun, not to follow more rules. I still enjoy this game, but if I had to remove only one thing, yeah, it's the laws.
Time to find yourself a new lawyer.
Next up, it's time for the sequel, well kinda, but sorta not really, but it's Final Fantasy Tactics A2 Grimoire of the Rift. This game I think is the most underrated, and it also sold a lot less compared to FFTA and FFT. While I've advocated and recommended this game, the one thing I absolutely hate is the crafting. You have to create the materials in order to get new weapons to buy at the bazaar. It's like trying to buy a diamond ring at the jewelry store, but you need to bring the gold band, the diamond, and then pay for the item, which is ridiculous. I genuinely hated this feature, and it's the main turnoff for me wanting to start new save files. Finally, for the last Final Fantasy Tactics game, it's Final Fantasy Tactics S. We don't know a lot about this game, but I will say, I'm not a big fan of auto battle at all, which this game had. I like manually controlling and playing, but having it be automated, to me, it just takes away the fun. Now for this second half of the video, it's for the people who wanted me to make a little more Tactics Ogre content. This one's for you. Now for the games that paved the way for Final Fantasy Tactics, as I said earlier, the Tactics Ogre games. I know they are part of the Ogre Battle series, but I only played the tactical ones. So for the one that started it all, the original Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling Together. The feature that I hate the most, but I actually kinda love it too, it is the permanent death feature. So when a unit dies in combat, he or she will actually die forever.
Forever. Forever. Forever.
This got annoying at times, especially when I forgot to save or had a save state ready. Still a marvelous game, and the one that we FFT fans should really owe thanks to. Now for the second title that also helped pave the way, but this time for Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, it's Tactics Ogre Knight of Lotus. It's very underrated. I only recently got into it, but to me, the AI seems to be the worst part of the game. It seems like it mostly wants to focus on a certain character only, well, I won't spoil it, but just like in any single player game, there are tips, tricks, and exploits, so it is what it is. Just like FFTA2, Knight of Lotus is a hidden gem, and I do recommend playing it for all you FFT fans. Next up, it's Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling Together, the remake for the PSP, which was freaking amazing. However, the one thing that really annoyed me was the class leveling system. So in this game, there are no individual character levels. Instead, it's based on class, meaning that if you want to change things up, or for unique and cool character joins, this means he or she will have to start at level 1, which kills the hype or excitement for them in my opinion, because I just want to start using them instead of having to grind them to match my party's level and to learn all their skills. Easily the worst feature I feel, but some people will also make the argument the whole crafting RNG is pretty bad too. Last but not least, Tactics Ogre Reborn, which is the remaster, remake, smoothie mix of the PSP remake of Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling Together and the original. The main feature I hate most by far, and it's the worst thing I ever experienced in any video game, are the in-battle buff cards all over the field. I find it annoying, random, RNG based, and just distracting by cluttering the battlefield. I rather watch a Hearthstone Pro tournament and even go back to playing Hearthstone because of the RNG here. That about wraps up my video on the one feature I hate most about every single Final Fantasy Tactics game, as well as the Tactics Ogre games. While we all have our favorite video games, it's sometimes fun to rant or talk about the one thing we truly dislike. I hope you all enjoyed this different kind of tactics video. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment on the thing you dislike most about a certain game. Also, leave a like on the video, and don't forget to subscribe. Helps me out greatly. It's also free, and you can always change your mind later. As always, thanks again. See you all next time.